Grand Rising, everyone. It is 5:55 1 o'clock, and today we'll be continuing this Power of the Divine Feminine series, where we'll be getting into Power 5, which is Sovereignty, the Inner Kingdom. Now, the first point that we're going to talk about is the throne within. Sovereignty begins with recognizing your inner throne. Every soul carries a kingdom inside: mind, heart, body, spirit. These are your lands. Whoever you let sit on your throne rules your life: fear, doubt, ego, and your higher self. True sovereignty means you sit on your throne not as a tyrant, but as a wise ruler. The teaching point of this section: your kingdom is not out there, it is within. Sit upon your throne, or someone else will. Point 2 is the divine right of authority. Kings and queens of old ruled by divine right spiritually. The truth is yours too. Authority does not come from outside approval. It comes from alignment with the source within. When you recognize your divine right, your words, choices, and presence carry natural authority. The teaching point for this section: you are not waiting for permission to be sovereign. You were born with the crown. Point 3, order, law, and justice. A kingdom without order falls to chaos. Sovereignty requires inner law. Your values, your boundaries, your truth. These form the laws of your inner land. Justice means balancing mercy with discipline, forgiving yourself, but not tolerating what prisons your temple is under, or better yet, the poisons as well. The teaching point for this section: a sovereign, yes, is known by their laws, while your laws on your heart and live them. I'm sorry, I have to repeat that over. The teaching point: a sovereign is known by their laws. Write your laws on your heart and live them. My apologies. Guardianship of the temple. The sovereign protector of the people. A sovereign is protector of the people. Getting kind of today. And your people are your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Some must be uplifted, loyal subjects. Some must be corrected, rebellious energies. Some must be banished, toxic invaders. Sovereignty is not just ruling, but guarding your realm. The teaching point for section 4: do not let foreign powers invade your inner land. Guard your temple as sacred ground. Number 5, crown of responsibility. A crown is not just glory, it is weight. To be sovereign, it is to be responsible for how your energy influences others. Authority without responsibility becomes tyranny. Responsibility without authority becomes slavery. Sovereignty is the balance of both. The teaching point for this section: your crown is your burden and your blessing. Wear it with humility and strength. Point 6, expansion of the kingdom. A true ruler expands their kingdom not by conquest, but by cultivation. Your sovereignty grows as you master yourself and uplift others. A sovereign presence inspires. Your kingdom expands into every space you step into. The teaching point for this section: when you rule yourself well, your very presence becomes a kingdom that others feel safe in. Point 7, the seal of the inner king and queen. Although we do not use those words, but this is the statement for it. The seal is the mark of sovereignty. When you speak, it is law. When you move, it is a command. This doesn't mean arrogance. It means alignment with divine will flowing through you. When your yes is yes, your no is no, your word becomes bond. That's where you get the term word is bond. That is the seal of sovereignty. The teaching point for this section. The sovereign word is not empty sound. It is decree. Speak it with fire. Act with integrity. Now to close the power of 5 for the collective. This is what I will say amongst to you all. Sovereignty is the crown you were born with. Your inner kingdom is waiting for you to rise, to sit on your throne, to write your laws, to protect your temple, and to expand your light. No one can dethrone you but yourself. Rule wisely, and your kingdom will flourish forever. Now, that is the ending of Power 5, which is sovereignty, the inner kingdom. Now, I was having little hiccups earlier because, like I said, I've been up on and off all night, but I was in the process of cutting ties and bonds with family. People who were known Masons and Easter Stars within the church. Something in my spirit made me research this information. And as soon as I did, and I went into the practices of cutting those cords with both sides of my family, including the family of my children, everything just started becoming a hiccup, which means that a lot of their stuff is relieving. I had to record this about 3 times, and that usually doesn't happen. But because that happened, and because I cut the cords, this is now what is going on. So, and I feel that energy removing off of me. So not only did I cut ties with these people who was in these organizations, who bonded me at birth, I'm also doing it with external forces who came in to do the same. So everything is clearing out, and I'm telling you, like, I feel more of a weight being relieved off me, which means that they've been having a stronghold on me for a very, very long time. And I just did this before I came on camera, so that is stating a lot for me anyway. But it's crazy how that situation played into the teachings of today. If you do not reclaim your position and you stand on your business, your sovereignty is now released to everybody. Sometimes you're not always clear. And for most of those who are walking in this path, we have to realize that our family is sometimes the reason why we are such in a chokehold, or we are so bonded. And we don't realize that until we begin this walk in spirituality. And then we see that, like, I get it now. And as you start relieving yourself from outer energies, you start feeling the difference within you. And because I did the rituals of cutting the cord, reclaiming my power back, taking away everything and stripping them and letting them know you no longer have hold over me. Whatever you did when I was born, when I did not have a voice to speak, no longer holds valid. I reclaim myself back. I reclaim my throne. I reclaim everything that is rightfully mine. And it's crazy how all that leads into this, because everything is pretty much aligned. So family, I implore you, even if you do not know, a lot of things over our people have been taken from us at a young age. They knew who we were. They knew who we were connected to. They knew our lineage. They knew what we inherited. Some of these people you may call mother and father may not be mother and father. Some who you may call siblings may not be siblings. We don't know the roots. And until you get your birth records and so forth, you really don't know. But it's amazing how as soon as I just did this before coming on camera, everything changed. The camera wasn't working, the system wasn't working, the Wi-Fi, everything started acting up. So the connection and ties that was with me is starting to break. Everything is a sign. I always take it as a sign. And for this one, pretty much we are at the end of the power of the divine feminine. Power 5 was the last one. And the next ones that we'll be going into will be the next step. The next lessons that we'll be learning. We'll be going more into deeper of, let's see. I want to make sure, since now we have finished our the power of divine feminine removal. Oh no, we haven't. We have two more. I do apologize. The next one is going to be compassion, which is justice and mercy. So we went through 5. It's actually a total of 7 powers of the divine feminine, and we went through 5. So we have 2 more. We have compassion, justice with mercy, and cosmic law, the stars, time, and rhythm. So power 6, it will be for tomorrow. But it's amazing. Once you really start, make sure you cut all the cords, because while you're moving up in your spirituality, you still have people outside of you that may have a hold or a bond on you. So even though we may be going into the right path, make sure all cords are tied. If you're tied to family members who you feel like wants you to be around because you're said family, that is a bonding. From what I research, is a bonding tactic. Because they use this term family, you feel obligated, but not knowing that they were probably never your family to begin with. That is the thing. And like I said, my spirit invoked me to research Masons and Eastern Stars deriving in the church. Because remember, a lot of our essence starts within the church. But what we don't know is that a lot of our family are involved in this from both sides of the family. They are involved with these organizations. And because they're involved with these organizations at birth, you're kind of put up as an offering. And we don't know about it. And a lot of this started coming out of my spirits. And I'm like, something just made me want to research. And as I researched, I said, okay, both sides is the same way. They both are a part of it in some type of way. Of course, your pastors and everything is involved with it, the first ladies and so forth. But you don't realize that how deep it goes with this church, because it's not just about learning the book. It's just learning that you're being indoctrinated not only at a young age, but you're getting involved with underground teachings and underground organizations, which makes the church divided, because while they preach one thing, they're underhandedly doing something else. And a lot of times you don't know. And for Spirit to have me research this says a lot. It was like, yeah, you on a path, you on the right thing, but I want you to look into this, because I'm getting into the point of my family. And a lot of times the family is the one blocking your inheritance. So you have to cut the cords. And something from them told me to do this. And once I cut the cords, everything just started dismantling. Everything was just off balance. And it's typically not like that. Not on an everyday thing. So for Spirit to tell me that and to do this, I implore my flame family, my spiritual crew, find out your essence, because they also wanted me to look into birth records. Like, who may be your mother and father may not be your mother and father. They're just appointed as that, as a placeholder to keep watch of you. Yes, it is that deep. It is that deep, and that's how deep it went into. Because even Spirit was telling me who you call mother and father, sisters, or godparent, or whatever, because they're all involved. The whole family is all involved with this. And it's like, as soon as you begin going to your spirituality, this is why you're being watched. Because they say, okay, well, she knows something. She's getting there. But now it's starting to get deeper. What is going on? We got to keep an eye out on her, see if she knows something. And all of a sudden, this morning, Spirit said, research that. And I did. And that just blew me away. And the fact that everything has happened after that with all this confusion blew my mind. We are bonded in another way. Yes, we are sovereign within ourselves, but we still got external forces that is on us. We have to cut the cords and clear the ties. Do your rituals, like as you're cleaning, you're going to have to get your candles, you're going to have to burn it, or you can vision it because you're so ancient, the power is within you that you can visualize the candle burning. A lot of that has worked for me when I cut the cords with it, and I did it that way because a lot of stuff wasn't at my access. And as soon as I did that, and I visual the cut cording, the gold white cord, and I'm cutting it, I'm slashing it and stuff like that, everything just became disarray. This spiritual warfare is on a whole different level than what we think it is. Like, we still got to get our inner part clear. We got them external forces, but the inner part is so deep. And when stuff starts to happen and you see that it's starting to happen, you got to look at it like, wow. And I kid you not, everything just happened this way. And like I said, I start feeling a lot of like my body starting to loosen up a little bit. So I'm like, oh, wow, I still had major attachments. But the fact that both sides of the family has connection to these organizations or in this organization, and it came from birth. This is when you didn't have a yes or no to say so. We talking about, okay, we're being indoctrinated into the church. But we not knowing the real reason why. And the baptismals and everything like that, all that plays a part. Like I found out years ago that my grandmother, that's labeled my grandmother, was an Eastern Star, but never really took the consideration to go into deeper further to it. But to realize that at my birth, I may have been taken away from my real parents. It's that deep. And like I said, once I did that and everything started happening, it bugged me out. As we get more into these times, as I always say, the temperature's rising. The temperature's rising very much. And the awareness is becoming more quicker. And like I said, listen to spirit, because spirit is the one that told me to do this. I don't know what, maybe, like I said, I woke up into this. Like I said, I've been in and out of sleep. Even my oldest son woke up. And I had to wait till he go to sleep to do this. But as he was sleeping, I was doing my thing on my phone. And I realized this. And I said, this is wild. You know, it's really wild. So, again, family. Because you may not know for sure if your family is a part of the Masons or the Eastern Stars or whatever. But I would say, as a default, do those cord cuttings. Because it's not only outside influences that's looking, it's internal. They've been looking at you and your upbringing this whole time. They purposely was a part of the system to keep you in dismay, to keep you down. And the reason why a lot of your living situations is the way they are, they had a hand in this. And you don't even realize that. So if you're coming up against things and stuff like that's because they are purposely putting that energy on it to make it happen. This goes so deep, and it's just giving me chills up my body, which means it's confirmation. So we're going to end the Power 5, and tomorrow we'll go into Power 6, which is the compassion, justice with mercy. It is wild that all has happened just before doing this teaching. 1919 on the clock. And I want you guys to have... I'm sorry, they're still kind of tripped me up a little bit, but as always, supreme rising, peace, power, and light be upon you. I speak truth, and Ashe.